In this segment, we talk about 3 games, and we have to judge these 3 games in the context of those 3 games. And today, because we have the Christian board game podcasters, we're going to talk about 3 Christian games that have been out there in the wild who have gotten pretty wide praise. So first one is going to be Ezra and Nehemiah from Garfield Games. This is a game, a worker placement game in the lines of Paladins of the West Kingdom and Raiders of the North Seas. But this is just another one in those incredible games where you are using worker placement to rebuild the wall that of Jerusalem after the exile from Israel that the Israelites had to go through. And then you're making sacrifices to the temple, you're reestablishing the what is it called? The Torah. Yeah, there you go. And you're doing all those things. And then Ierusalem is actually a game where it is the Last Supper, and your goal is to be adjacent to Jesus when the final picture happens. And so I don't know if it's the final picture or not, but I always think about that game as like you're all vying to be next to Jesus so that someone can take a picture of you.
It's picture perfect Jesus version.
That's right. That's pretty much what it is. But again, you got a worker placement game where your goal is to just keep moving through the table and kind of get to the prime position. And then we have the Flood. The Flood is actually, I don't know much about this game. I know that it is it's a Catan-like game, I believe. Actually, does anybody know this one better than me?
I mean, yeah. So you're looking at a Catan-like game. You're trying to build the ark. You're going through different phases. You have different weather. The seas are rising, so tiles are starting to go away. So resources become a little bit more limited. And ultimately, you're trying to construct your ark, and before the flood runs out. And there's a whole point system in that. And there's also different modules that come in. Like they have the beast module, and so you have different beasts and different animals that'll help you do different things along the way. And so, yeah, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more, I guess, as we go through our play shelf trade.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thanks for the save there, Joe. I was like, I'm gonna fake this, and I was like, I'm
Way to
gonna
investigate those games.
It's also by Bedouin Games, and so yeah, it's their first effort there.
Yeah, a beautiful production. I haven't played it myself, but it definitely looks beautiful. But enough of the quick summary. So let's get into what we actually want to do. So I am going to say my shelf is going to be Ezra and Nehemiah. I got to play this game, and it is fantastic. I'm not even a Garfield sycophant like some people are out there. I've enjoyed Raiders of the North Sea like the first time I played it when it first came out. Hadn't played much of his games since then because they just never really spoke to me, but this one spoke to me at a different level, and it was fantastic. Everything you're doing is impactful. It's a meaty, like 3-hour long game, right up my alley. I love this game. My play is a toss-up. Like I really do want to play the Flood, and I want to play Ierusalem, but this time I'm gonna go with Ierusalem just because it's actually on my shelf. I purchased the game when it first came out, and I just haven't played it yet. It's been like a year now, and I still need to get it played. Also, I think the theme is just really unique, and I love that they really thought outside the box with this theme as well. And then the Flood, I guess, just because of the context of this, it will be my trade, though I would be happy to play this game at any time, but because it does get compared to like Catan-like, I'm kind of like, well, that doesn't really get me like fired up, but I'm sure when people describe games as like this game, they're usually way off, so I'm not going to give it too much weight, but in this segment of 3, I'm going to weigh it a little heavier than I normally would. So there you go. Those are my play shelf trades. So
that is your play shelf trades. And for once we don't match, and I love it when we don't match.
Yeah.
So there we go. So yeah, my play is going to be the Ezra and Nehemiah. So it's the same designer as Raiders of the North Sea. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So I played Raiders of Scythia. I own Raiders of Scythia. It's a great game. I love that game. So yeah. Everything about that game sounds good, except for Daniel thinks I might not like it. So it's not going to be
because it's so long.
It's going to be my play, and we'll see. It's going to be my play when I have a long time to play a game. So there you go. That's definitely my play. My shelf is on my shelf, and that's Ierusalem. It's gotten several plays since I've had it, and it's not just sitting around the table getting a picture taken. There's a lot more to it, and it's a little bit light. I don't even know if it's really deck building because it's more like action hand management kind of thing. Because you use the cards. When you use the cards, you lose them, and so you lose all the powered up cards. Like you're tempted to get all these powered up cards, but one of the things that you can do in the game is like listen to all the parables, and the parables are only in your original deck. So if you're powering up with these other cards, those are coming out less often. So you're not going to be able to get all the parables. I figured this out last time I played it. I'm like, why am I not getting parables? What? Oh, because I keep getting these other cards and they're too powerful. I want to use them, but they don't let me hear parables. So interesting choices you have to make in that game. It's really cool. So Jerusalem, still on my shelf, going to stay on my shelf. And yeah, the Flood, no offense to the people that made the Flood, because I understand making a competitive game out of, because Christian games so often are co-op games, but I don't see how you make a Flood game that's not co-op, because I have a hard time getting immersed in the theme that Noah and his 3 brothers were all competing. Oh, your family's going down, buddy. You are going down. I'm gonna. There's probably some take that in it too. That'd be great. No, I'm sinking it right out from under you. I hope it's ready. Giraffes. Sorry, you don't get them. I'm sorry. Thematically, I'm having a hard time with it. It might be a good game. Yeah. But just on that alone, I'm breaking out the old saying we had before. I'm trading it like yesterday's Judas. It's going to be gone.
Oh, wow. John, I'm shocked you don't remember that part in Genesis where God called 4 people to build the ark, and he said, but whoever gets finished and first.
Does it first. I think that was in the Noah movie where where the demons were helping them build it. That was probably the same one.
The rock Nephilim or whatever. Yeah.
Is there rock monsters in the Flood? That's what I want to know.
Oh, maybe there is. Maybe there should
be an expansion for the rock monsters.
Yes.
Maybe
a fan-based one, maybe.
Yeah, but there aren't currently. No.
All right, Ray, I'm interested to hear yours. What you got?
All right, let's get to it. You guys are going to hear my board game expertise right here.
Yes.
Put my knowledge out here. So my play is actually going to be the Flood. So I did a little review of the game. I thought it looked great. I thought the artwork was amazing. Yes. The way that they used the resources that was biblically inspired was great. I like the minis. I'm a sucker for good minis. The art looked cool, how it came together for me. You got like the miniatures of their gargantuans or your whatever your beast are that are working, and you can upgrade them. It seemed like it had some really good mechanics to it for me. And I thought it'd be something fun to play. Also, I thought it was interesting that if you didn't get done in the time, built your arc in the time frame, if nobody did, everybody loses. So it's kind of like, it makes sense. So yeah, if Noah and his brothers all didn't build the ark, everybody's losing no matter what. So it doesn't matter.
God's right? Done with everybody.
The end of humanity.
Yeah. You know what?
There is no remnant.
So they have the mercy cards in there that I thought was really cool. So you have your sin cards and your mercy cards. And when you have the sin, you get closer to the Flood, but there's also a place for God's mercy in there as you draw the mercy card. So I like that. I thought that was cool. My shelf is going to be Ezra and Nehemiah because I have actually played that game. It was great. Wow, this timer goes fast. Holy smokes. I got to speed it up. I didn't know.
You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. You can go over just like John.
Don't worry about it. I never look at it.
Ezra and Nehemiah was a great game. Fantastic. A lot of strategy. I like the way that they brought in the pieces to build the wall were also pieces that you use for so many different things. The Levitical priests that are going to making the sacrifices. It's true to the biblical narrative. Awesome game. Had a lot of fun. One that I would get to the table a lot. So I'm going to keep that on my shelf. And then my trade is actually going to be Jerusalem or Ierusalem. Basically because I keep hearing a lot of people say Ierusalem. I don't like the soft J. So I'm going to throw it away. That pronunciation kind of bothers me. Plus, I feel like, paying to try to get close to Jesus doesn't really go in line with the biblical narrative. Like Jesus went to the people that were poor. He didn't make people pay for him like a superstar. So there's my trade.
I mean, Judas paid a lot for it. Just gotta say.
True. But you see what happened to him. Okay?
Yeah,
That's
it didn't go well.
to him.
That's awesome.
You just inspired me. Got to play Jesus Christ Superstar next time I play this.
Oh gosh.
Oh, wow. Oh man.
All right. Joe, what do you got?
I just want to lead out with the fact that Ray, literally is watch, I don't have any bird game expertise, and then was the most detailed description.
Yes.
Super thorough, real good.
Right?
Yeah. All right, now the timer is moving quick, and I'm wasting mine. All right, so here's the deal. Ray, I wish I would have known that you really wanted to play the Flood as much as you did, because I have actually already traded this away. I had it. I had the full deluxe and everything,
really?
and I got rid of it. Yeah, and the reason
I
was
wish you
is
wouldn't have told me that.
I opened it up and I had some Catan PTSD, man. I literally opened it up and I was like, I can't do this. It's like building two roads, and I'm like, nope, it's not going to work for me, actually. And honestly, I had backed the Kickstarter. Like when it first came out, it looked intriguing, and then the game didn't actually get to tables for quite a while because the pandemic and other things. And so by the time I got it, I was like, yeah, I'm already off this. And so I traded it. And Ray, I wish I would have known. We could have played it.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I'll get a copy.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good. And I'll play it with you, I'm sure. But so with that, my actual shelf, again, has already been said a couple of times, is Ezra and Nehemiah. I am a Garfield game sycophant. I actually love Shem Phillips is my favorite designer. Love the stuff he puts out. Just have a lot of fun with it. A lot of the things that you guys have already shared are the reasons why I like it. But I just think it's a lot of fun. Love the decision space. What I love most about his games a lot of times is there's so many things to do, and you can't just like be like, oh, I'm just going to focus here. You really have to spread yourself out a little bit, but you're not going to complete everything. And so you have to look at like with the profits in that dynamic where I can lose some stuff here if I don't really tend to this. And so I think that there's a lot of really neat mechanics. I think thematically they nailed it. Just really loved it. And my play is actually Ierusalem, Soft J.
You go yogging too, don't you? From time to time.
I do yog. I'm a big yogger. But yeah, I eat peanut butter and jelly. And so like as I go through it, though I agree with what Ray's saying thematically, it kind of threw me off a little bit. But I've heard really great things about the game, and I'm actually interested in just getting it to the table and seeing what it's like. And so Ierusalem is actually going to be my play out of those three. So.
Yeah, cool. Well, I did want to mention, I forgot what I say about this Ezra and Nehemiah. I do want to have one criticism towards the game.
Sure.
And that is, I was expecting it's beige. That's right. No, it's fine. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of beige in rebuilding Israel. It's very thematic that way. No, I expected them to be building the wall with a hammer in one hand and the sword in the other. There's no fighting mechanism. I'm like, But I'm also torn on it because I don't think I would have liked a fighting mechanism. But for the theme's sake, I wanted to see it.
It would have been a lot to have to put some level of fighting in there. God. I mean, there's already so much you're doing, and like I couldn't even think about how you would add that just based on what you have to do. I mean, you'd have to change the game foundationally. I think in a lot of ways.
Well,
now, if you want fighting, you have to play the flood.
Right. If you want the fighting, play the flood.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. Which one is your play shelf trade? And let us know in the comments below. And remember to like and subscribe.
Thank you for watching this clip from Around the Board. If you'd like to watch the full episode, please click on the link down below. Around the Board is essentially a game show featuring 4 board game enthusiasts that discuss board game topics and news in a competitive format. Whoever wins gets to talk about whatever he wants at the end of the show. So please join us, won't you, Around the Board.